We saw earlier that one of the key DevOps practice is the process of integration and continuous delivery, also called in short as CI/CD. So, in fact, behind the acronyms of CI/CD, there are three practices. The first one is continuous integration, CI. Second one is continuous delivery, CD. And last but not least, continuous deployment. So, what does each of these practices correspond to? What are their prerequisites and best practices? Are they applicable to all? Let's look in detail at each of these practices, starting with the continuous integration. Continuous integration. So, in the following definition given by Martin Fowler, there are three key things mentioned. Members of a team integrate and as quickly as possible. So, continuous integration is a software development practice where members of a team integrate their work frequently. So, each integration is verified by an automated build, including tests. So, to detect integration errors as quick as possible. So, that is CI, continuous integration, as Martin Fowler, as per his definition, the three key things that he has mentioned in his definition are members of a team integrate and as quickly as possible. So, CI is an automatic process that allows you to check the completeness of an application's code every time a team member makes a change. So, this verification must be done as quickly as possible. So, we see DevOps culture in CI very clearly with the spirit of collaboration and communication, because the execution of CI impacts all members in terms of work methodology, and therefore collaboration. Moreover, CI requires the implementation of processes such as branch, commit, pull, pull request, code review, and so on and so forth. So, with automation that is done with tools adapted to the whole team, such as Git, Jenkins, Azure DevOps, and so on and so forth. And finally, CI, continuous integration, must run quickly to collect feedback on code integration as soon as possible, and hence be able to deliver new features more quickly to users. So now let's look into implementation of CI, continuous integration pipeline. So to set up CI, it's therefore necessary to have a source code manager. So that you can see here on top of your screen. That will allow the centralization of code of all members. This code manager can be of any type, a Git, SVN, or team foundation source control. So it's also important to have an automatic build manager, that CI server, a continuous integration server, or automation server that supports a continuous integration such as a Jenkins or GitLab CI, TeamCity, Azure Pipelines, GitHub Actions, Travis CI, Circle CI, and so on so forth. Here you can see this is our continuous integration or automation server. So widely used tools for automation is Jenkins, GitLab CI, and Azure Pipelines and Circle CI. So each team a member will work on the application code daily, iteratively, and incrementally. Such like in obviously they follow agile methodology with some Scrum framework. They have to do iteratively and incrementally only. So each task on the feature must be partitioned from other developments with the use of branches. So regularly, even several times a day, members archive or commit their code, and preferably with the small commits that can be easily fixed in the event of an error. So this will therefore be integrated into rest of the code of the application with all of the other commits of the other members. So basically, if you see this guy is a Python guy, this guy is a front end guy, or maybe HTML, CSS, Java. So this guy developed one module, and this guy has written another module, and he pushed the code, and then he pushed the code, and other guy also will push the code, and he will also integrate back that code with him. So this integration of all the commits is the starting point of CI process, continuous integration process. So this process executed by the CI server. So this is our CI server. So we are going to use Jenkins only. So let's imagine that this CI server is a Jenkins server. So the CI server must be, so this process must be automated and triggered at each commit. So the server will retrieve the code and then do the following. So the first step is build the application package. So compilation, file transformation, and so on, and then perform unit tests with code coverage. So this CI process must be optimized as soon as possible so that it can run fast and developers can have quick feedback on the integration of their code. For example, code that is archived and does not compile or whose test execution fails can impact the block of the entire team. So sometimes a bad practice can result in the failure of tests in the CI, continuous integration. So deactivating the test execution, taking as arguments, it's not serious. So it's necessary to deliver quickly, or the code that compiles, it compiles. So it is essential. So on the contrary, this practice can have serious consequences when the errors detected by the tests are revealed in the production. So the time saved during CI will be lost on fixing errors with hot fixes and redeploying them quickly with the stress. So this is the opposite of DevOps culture with poor application quality for end users and no real feedback. And instead of developing new features, we spend time correcting errors. So that is the reason feedback is very much important. So here in continuous integration, we will also have a feedback loop. If it is feedback about what are going well and what are not going well, fixes, hot fixes, bug fixes, everything complete information will get back to the our developers. So with an optimized and complete CI process, the developer can quickly fix their problems and improve their code or discuss it with the rest of the team and commit their code for a new integration. So this diagram which is on your screen shows the cyclical steps of continuous integration that include the code being pushed into the SCM, source control manager, or source code manager, so by the team members, and the execution of the build and test by the CI server. And the purpose of this fast process is to provide rapid feedback to members.